Y'all listen up now, 'cause I got a story for y'all, a real heart tugger, set right here in the good ol' US of A, back when things were tough, real tough. It ain't 'bout some fancy ballrooms or sweet tea on the veranda. No sir, this here's 'bout love bloomin' in the dust and worry of wartime, with folks speakin' just like you and me. See, there was this fella, name of Billy Ray. Now, Billy Ray wasn't no city slicker. He was a farm boy from Tennessee, strong hands, honest eyes, the kind of fella who knew the value of hard work and a good, sweet watermelon on a hot day. When the call came, he didn't hesitate none. Signed right up, ready to do his part. And then, there was Sarah Beth, prettiest darn gal you ever did see, with hair like spun gold and a laugh that could chase away the meanest storm cloud. She worked at the diner down on Main Street, serving up coffee and apple pie with a smile that could melt your heart faster than butter on a skillet. Billy Ray, before he shipped out, he'd come into that diner every mornin' for a cup o' joe and a slice of Sarah Beth's pie. They'd talk 'bout nothin' much, the weather, the crops, the latest news on the radio. But something was brewin' there, something warm and real, like a pot of stew simmerin' on the stove. "Mornin', Sarah Beth," he'd say, his voice a little rough around the edges. "Why, mornin' to you, Billy Ray," she'd reply, her eyes sparklin' like fireflies on a summer night. "The usual," he'd nod, watchin' her move, the way the sunlight caught her hair. And she'd sneak him an extra big piece of pie just 'cause. Then came the day he had to leave. The whole town turned out to see the boys off, flags wavin', folks cryin'. Billy Ray found Sarah Beth standin' near the back, her face pale, but her chin held high. He walked over to her, his duffel bag heavy on his shoulder. "Sarah Beth," he said, looking deep into her eyes, I reckon I'm gonna miss your pie somethin' awful." She managed a weak smile, a tear rollin' down her cheek. "You just come on back, Billy Ray," she said, her voice a little shaky, "and I'll bake you all the pie you can eat." He reached out, took her hand, his calloused fingers gently squeezing hers. "I will," he promised, his gaze sincere. You just keep that smile shinin' for me, darlin'." They didn't say no big, dramatic words, no fancy speeches, just a quiet promise in the middle of all the commotion. He gave her hand one last squeeze, then turned and hopped on that train, leaving Sarah Beth standing there, watching him go, a single tear glistening on her cheek. The warriors were hard. Letters flew back and forth, filled with simple words of love and longing, talking about home and hoping for peace. Sarah Beth kept working at the diner, her smile a little dimmer now, but still there, a beacon for the folks who came in. She'd read Billy Ray's letters over and over, memorizing every word, every scratch of his pen on the thin blue paper. He wrote about the dust and the heat, the camaraderie of the fellas, and always about missin' her somethin' fierce and dreamin' of her apple pie. She wrote back about the town, the folks, and how she was counting down the days till he came home. Then, one bright mornin', the news spread like wildfire. The war was over. Folks poured out into the streets, celebratin', huggin', cryin' tears of joy. Sarah Beth stood outside the diner, her heart poundin' in her chest like a drum. A dusty Jeep pulled up to the curb, and a soldier climbed out. He was thinner, his face a little more lined, but those honest eyes, those strong hands. It was Billy Ray. He saw her standing there, her golden hair catching the sun, and a slow smile spread across his face. "Sarah Beth," he called out, his voice a little hoarse. She didn't say a word, just ran to him, throwing her arms around his neck, holding on tight like she'd never let go. He hugged her back, burying his face in her hair, breathing in the familiar scent of flower and cinnamon. They just stood there for a long while, wrapped in each other's arms. The noise of the town celebrating faded into the background. Finally, he pulled back a little, looking at her, his eyes full of something deeper than she'd ever seen before. "That pie still waitin' for me, darlin'?" he asked. A hint of that old Tennessee drawl back in his voice. Her smile, the real one, the one that could chase away storms, finally returned. "It sure is, Billy Ray," she whispered, her eyes shining with tears of happiness, "and a whole lot more. And that, folks, is how love bloomed in the middle of a war, right here in America. Not with grand gestures or fancy words, but with simple, promises, and a whole lot of heart. A reminder that even in the toughest of times, something as sweet and real as apple pie and a love that lasts can see you through. Yes, sir, that's the way it was.